Hello students, now we want to continue on the logarithm of numbers. This time we are considering the logarithm of numbers less than 1, a continuation of the knowledge you had when you were in ss1. So it means that before you can comprehend this topic properly, you must have been able to solve what you must have a residual knowledge of what you did in ss1. So please, in case you have not got that, you need to go over that before you can move forward to enjoy this. But before then, we need to get some things, basic facts, before we can use logarithm table to calculate, to evaluate numbers that are less than 1. Now let's look at this. Use logarithm table to find the logarithm of the following numbers. We want to learn to use logarithm table to find this number is 0.005812. Realize this number is less than 1. This number is less than 1. 0.005812. Whenever you are to find the logarithm of number, first of all, you must always express it in standard form. That is the reason why you are moving the decimal point. And when you are expressing in standard form, it means that the number before the decimal should be a unit number. So that means from number 1 to 9, it should be a unit number. So that means if you are having 0.005812, so you want to move the decimal point to have a unit number. So how many times are you going to move this? So if you move this is what? 1, 2, 3. You are like here, you'll be having 5.812. So that means you move it how many times to make it a standard number? That is for 3 times. You know, if you were to write it in standard form, you say times 10 raised to power minus 3. But because this is logarithm table you want to apply, now this minus 3, you now write it in form of, this minus will now come to the top of this number 3. So that is why we make it minus 3. So the minus will come up here, then you have 3 underneath it. So this one is called bar 3. So here we refer to that minus to be bar in this. So that means you're having bar 3. So bar 3 point, it means that this minus only affecting 3. It does not affect any other all the other number after the decimal. So you have bar 3 point. You now come to these figures. So that means you have to pick the first two number, 5 and 8, which is 58, under 1, difference of 2. You come to your logarithm table. You go to your logarithm table, look for log of what? 58. This is 58 under 1. This is 1. So you are having 7642. You have 7642. Then the difference of 2. If on the same line, come to the differences here. This is 2. So let's trace it down to be on the same line. So that means this is 2 and 8. So that means here you'll be having what? 1. So that means you add 1 to it, which is what? 7643. So that means you now have what? 7643. So let's do another example. You are having example 2, 0.5192. 0.5192. So here also, if you are having 0.5192, now again you say you are going to get it in, if you are to write it in standard form, you move this decimal point till you have a unit number in before the decimal. So if you move this one, how many times you move it? You move it 1 time. So that means you'll be having 5.192. Then times 10 raised to power. How many times are you moving it? Minus 1. So you move it once. So because this is minus 1, so you are now going to be, it now be what? 1 in the minus, you now put it on top of that one. It now be what? By 1 point. Then you now pick your logarithm table. You are going to look for, you pick the first two number, which is what? 5 and 1, 51 under 9, difference of 2. You now look for the logarithm of 51. Logarithm of 51. So this is 51. This is 9 under 9. So come, where do they meet? They all met as well. 7152. 7152. Then the difference of 2. So first of all, you are having 7152. You have 7152. Now the difference of 2 here. The difference of 2. You look at the same line. The difference of 2 here is what? 2. So you add 2 to it. So you add 2 to it. When you add 2 to it, you are having 7154. 7154. So that is why you are having about 1.7154. So let's come to the third example. Here you are having 0.03862. So again, you are going to move your decimal points. You will move your decimal points. So when you are having 0.03862. Now, how many times will you move it so that you have a unit number before decimal? So 1, 2. So you know, if you have to write this in standard form, you have 3.862 times 10 raised to the power minus 2. Now this minus 2 will now become what? Bar 2. Instead of, so this minus, you now write it on top. Now bar 2 points. You now pick your Formical table again. You look for what? The logarithm of what? 38 under 6, difference of 2. When you check 38 under 6, then look at the difference, you add it to it. You now realize to give you a 5868. So another example, you have what? Logarithm of 0.8. 0.8. So 0.8, how many times are you going to move the decimal to make sure you have a unit number? So you have 0. How many times? You move it once. So this same thing as 8 times 10 raised to the power what? Minus 1. This minus 1 will now become what? Bar 1. So the minus you are writing it to be on top of that one. Because it shows that what that minus only affecting this number here. It doesn't affect all the others. So by 1 point. You know now in logarithm you cannot look for the log of what? 8. There's no 8 here. So that instead of that you look for what? The logarithm of what? 80. 80 will give you what? Under 0. Logarithm of 80 under 0 will give us 9031. So you now put 9031. So when you are having a number less than 1, so is the difference between greater than 1 is just, you know, the where you are going to what? Place your decimal points. So you now this, if you are to look for the logarithm of any number that are less than 1, this is a procedure. Now before we move on, we also need to know how to add and subtract in bar notation. You know, earlier I told you that whenever you are you have bar on any number, you know that it's only for that number. It does not affect all the others. Now let's look at this example. You are having bar 3.7643 plus bar 1.7154. You want to add this. So if you are to add, so now you say what? 3. You know, you add from the back. 3 plus 4 is what? 7. 4 plus 5 is 9. 6 plus 1 is what? 7. 7 plus 7 is what? 14. You write 4, remainder 1. Take note. So you know it ought to be 14. So you are going to write 4. It ought to be 14, right? So you write 4, remainder 1. So that one, you need to look at it. That one is same thing. You now have 1, that one. Then this bar 3 is same thing as what? You now say that one, then this is bar 3. Same thing as saying minus 3. This plus this bar 1 is same thing as saying minus 1. Hope I am clear. So we have 1 minus 3 plus minus 1. So when two signs are beside each other like that, you are going to what? Solve them. Plus times minus is what? Minus 1. So you have 1 minus 3 is what? Minus 3. 1 minus 3 is minus 2. Minus 2 minus 1 is to give us minus 3. So that is why this one is taken to be what? Bar 3. Now let's do another example. You having bar 3.7643 minus bar 1.7154. So we want to subtract. So you say 3 minus 4. Not possible. Borrow 1 from here. When you borrow 1 here, making it what? 13. 13 take away 4 is what? You having what? 9. Remaining 3 here. 3 take away 5. Not possible. Borrow 1 again, making it what? 13. 13 take away 5 here is what? 8. You are left with what? 5 here. 5 take away 1 is what? 4. Here you having 7 take away 7 here is what? 0. You've got your decimal point. Put your decimal point. Then this one is same thing minus bar 3 minus minus 1. So the same thing as saying bar 3 is what? Same thing as saying minus 3. Then this minus. Then minus 1. Minus 1. So you have a minus 3 minus minus 1. So you have a minus 3. Minus times minus will give us plus 1. Minus 3 plus 1 will give us what? Minus 2. So that is the reason you have a minus 2 here. Now let's do another example. Now you are having bar 1.7154 plus bar 2.5868. Now you want to add them. 4 plus 8 is 12. Write 2 remainder 1. That 1 plus 5, 6 plus 6 is 12. Write 2 remainder 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 8 is what? 10. Right? So write 0 remainder 1. 1 plus 7 is what? 8. 8 plus 5 is what? 8 plus 5 is 13. Write 3 remainder 1. So you've got to your decimal point. Put your decimal point. Then the remainder 1. So that means you are having what? You are having 1 remaining. 1. Abi. So this one means what? Bar 1 is what? Minus 1. You now say minus 1. You know, this one is the one you carried from here to this side. Abi. So you now say minus 1. Then you now have this is plus minus 2. You now say plus minus 2. So two signs are beside each other here. You are going to multiply them. Same time saying 1 minus 1 plus times minus is what? Minus 2. 1 minus 1 is 0. 0 minus 2 is what? Minus 2. So you now write it as what? Bar 2. I hope I'm making sense. Now let's come to this other one. This example. Bar 1.7154 minus bar 2.9832. So you are told to subtract, right? So you say 4 minus 2 is what? 2. 5 minus 3 is 2. 1 minus 8 not possible. Borrow 1 from here, remaining 6 here. If you bring in 1 here, making what? 11. 11 minus 8 will give you 3. Now you are now left with 6 here. 6 minus 9 is not possible. You have to borrow 1 here. And what do you have here? Originally, you have about 1 here. So you think of the composition of numbers, that when you add and subtract it, it will give us what? This minus 1. So that means what we can think of here is what? Minus 2 plus 1. Minus 2 plus 1 is same thing as saying minus 1. So in place of this minus 2, bar 2 minus 1, bar 1, we will now put what? Minus 2 plus bar 2 plus 1. So that this one come and join this 7 here. Sorry, we are left with 6 here already. To join this 6 here to make it 16. 16 minus 9 will give us 7. So instead of having you've used up this plus one, it means this one minus 2. Minus 2, then minus 2. So that means you have that bar 2 same thing as saying minus 2 minus this minus 2 minus 2 minus 2 minus times minus is what? Plus 2. Minus 2 plus 2 is what? 0. So that is why you're having 0 here. Now let's look at this. You're having what? First ignore this. You're having by 1.5868 minus 2.9031. So first of all, you want to subtract. So you're having 8 minus 1 is what? 7. 6 minus 3 is 3. 8 minus 0 is 8. 5 minus 9 not possible. You borrow 1. So we cannot really borrow 1 from what? Minus 1. So that means we need a combination of numbers that will give us minus 1. So we can say minus 2 plus 1. Minus 2 plus 1 is same thing as minus 1. So that we can borrow this 1 to come and join this 5 and making 15. 15 take away 9 will give us 6. 10 points. So now we refuse of this 1. In place of this minus 1, you now put this minus 2 here. You now have minus 2 minus this 2. So if you have a minus 2 minus 2, minus 2 minus 2 will give you minus 4. Same thing as saying bar 4. I hope you've got what I'm trying to pass across. So for the work practice, I want you to do this. Use logarithm tables to find the following. A 0.000979197. B 0.00002514. C 0.8497. D 0.007568. Number 2. Simplify the following expressions expressing the answers in bar notation. A. Bar 2.9159 plus 0.8136. B. 1.7627 plus bar 3.4472. C. Bar 3.4472 minus bar 1.77382. D. Bar 3.7627 minus bar 1.4472. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment on this video. Thank you.